So guys, this morning we talked about the biggest way to make more money, which is more calls, more visits. What Jim and Dan are going to do next is, in my belief system, the second thing that we have to do in order to execute at a very high level. So if you see more people and you do more visits, you're going to get more business. They're going to show you how to actually execute the business. So two of our best leaders in the whole company, Jim Reed and Dan Miller.
All right. Wow. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I just wanted to, if you guys would do me a favor and give it up for Chris Ringrose real quick. Give it up for her. I agree. You know, the whole culture family thing hit me while I was watching that commercial cartoon. I'm not what sure it was. I was really looking for myself in there. I was kind of mad I didn't see myself for a minute, and then I saw myself at the end. I felt a little better. Listen, we battle. Like in my house, me and my wife, we battle. Sometimes we battle about stuff, about what to do with the kids, about what school, about how to handle the grades that they're getting, about what tutor we should have, about how to take care of the dog. We battle. And me and Chris Ringrose battle sometimes about how to be great. And I just want to tell you that I respect you and I appreciate you. All right. So we got to teach you guys how to do, you guys know the Serenity prayer? Okay, so this is Dan Miller. So the guys that don't know him, many of you do. So Dan Miller is someone that, he'll tell you that when we were younger, I used to annoy the living crap out of him because I made $7.50 an hour and he made a lot of money, so every time he was around, I just riddled him with questions. And he always used to say, dude, lay off. And I'm like, no, dude, you're nothing special. I want to do what you do.
He had that right.
So we're going to teach you how to close loans in 30 days. And it sounds simple, but really we're going to talk about what we're in control of. You guys know what the Serenity prayer is? You do? So I wrote it down because I can't really memorize it. Can I read it to you? So it says, accept the things I cannot change. Can you guys change TRID? No. You change underwriters? No, okay. Accept the things I cannot change. Have courage to change the things I can. Courage is this key line, the line in that sentence that I want you to focus on right now. Courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Right? So, we're going to talk about 3 things that we think you got to do to close loans faster and better. And guess who they're all going to fall on? It really is all going to fall on you, and you're not going to like it. There's going to be 3 things we're going to talk about. The first one is an accurate investigation of the client. I didn't say 1003. An accurate investigation of the client. The second thing is controlling your borrower and realtors. And the third thing is managing time frames and panicking earlier. When do y'all panic?
At the end.
Y'all panic at the end. When do I want you to panic?
Early.
The first day, the first moment. We're going to bounce this back and forth, and I'm actually going to... Are you comfortable sharing the information you got from interviewing one of our producers?
Sure.
Okay, good. So here's why I think the problem is, and here's what I want you guys to realize. That the best originators in the country, the ones that I personally know, are master loan technicians. Masters.
What does that mean to you, Jimmy?
So to me, a master is, they literally read guidelines on a daily basis. They literally study their craft on a daily basis. They're masters. They know the guidelines inside and out on any program they're going to do. And if they don't know the program, they're not going to do it. How many of you guys could turn away a 203K loan when you need a loan? I turn them away all day long and twice on Sunday. You guys get it? What's it mean to you? What's master mean to you?
Master means someone that is comfortable enough with what they don't know that they don't take it on. Does that make sense? In other words, they have an understanding of, how come it is that the people that you know that are the most knowledgeable about a subject are the most likely to say, well, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? So a master is someone that knows their craft well enough to know what they can't take on and to not take it on. That, to me, is the definition of a master.
Wow, I remember that from my philosophy class in school when you said that. The wisest man is the man who knows what he does not know. And here's where I think it all boils down to, this problem we're having on the front end. I have a good friend of mine. I'm lucky enough to work with One of my good friends, his name's Phil Scott. He's right over here. Raise your hand, bald man. Give it up for my Phil. So he comes on. If y'all don't know Phil, get to know Phil. He is one of the most passionate, loving, will beat your ass up in an alley dudes you have ever met. And he's super strong and super soft, which is weird, but it's super. And if anybody who knows him, they'll say, yeah, that's Phil. He came onto our branch, and he had a movement. I called it a movement. I call it the first 48. The first 48. And it's really about you guys focusing on the first 48 hours of a transaction, because that's when you're in the most control and when people will listen to you the most. That's when you have the most opportunity to control the client and when people will listen to you the most. And here's what I think you guys, the biggest mistake I think we make as originators. Well, before I tell them, why don't you tell them what you think the biggest mistake they make as originators in the first part of the deal?
So if I may,
please.
I'll just take a step back.
I digress.
How many of y'all are married? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you, keep your hand up if you have a prenuptial agreement. How many of you wish you did?
Just kidding. Hey,
Listen.
I was kidding.
What Jim's talking about is expectations. You know, I think Rick did a great job of setting a clear expectation in this room of what a Summit Funding originator is supposed to be. How many of you are unclear about what a Summit Funding originator is supposed to be? So good job, Mr. Ruby, right? Okay. So yeah, give him a hand. That's all right. Here's the thing that we have to remember. You don't have another shot at setting clear expectations. And as Jim points out, it's that every transaction, we have to set expectations on every transaction. It doesn't matter how seasoned a borrower you have. In fact, the more seasoned the borrower, the more retarded they will act. I know that's not a politically correct word. Let me rephrase that.
That's not a politically correct word.
The more seasoned the borrower, the more challenging they will be. Because they've got an 810 FICO, and because they have $1 million in the bank, and because everything in their life goes pretty well. But guess what? Now things are going to be different. And so we have to set that expectation. And back to Jim's point, I think it really starts with our referral partners and making sure that we're setting those clear expectations with them up front. Because the fact of the matter is part of closing smoothly is what they expect smooth to look like. Are you with me? Crystal, are you with me? Does that make sense? What is the definition of smooth? Listen, we have to do a better job of saying the definition of smooth is sucking less than you expect. That's smooth. It's not going to be perfect. We might have 4 or 5 times that we're going to have to come back to you and ask you for documentation. We'll get into this a little more clearly, you know, at some point. But I think we really need to do that job. To answer your question in a long-winded way, which you know me long enough to know it takes a while, is that I think that's the failure point. I don't think we set those clear expectations. And when we do, what happens? What happens if you set clear expectations? Will it go better than usual? Yeah, it goes better than usual. So
yeah, I just think we got an unclear definition of service. When's the accurate close date? When's the date file supposed to close? When was it? The date on the contract? Yeah, people who work for me know my answer. The date it's supposed to close is whatever date I said it would close. Let me give you an example. If it's a 45-day contract and the realtor calls me and says, well, you don't have to role play, but if the realtor calls me and says, hey, Jim, can we close early? And I say, yeah. Then if I close on the contract date, am I on time? No. I'll give you another example. If a realtor writes a 15-day escrow for a CHDAP, WAP, PAP loan with 3 layers of down payment assistance, and I know that 45 days is most realistic, but I don't say anything, and it closes in 45 days, did it close on time? No. So it's whenever I said it was. So the first skill I want to give you guys is read your contract. Do you guys read every word on your contract? Do you call both agents every single time and introduce yourselves every single time and manage the close date at that point? I'm just telling you, if you change that about the way you do it and you ask for more time up front, you'll get it. If you ask for more time at the end, you'll get misery. Make sense? All right. So I want to talk more about controlling the borrower. So role play with me. So here's the deal. I do loans still. Dan hasn't been a loan rep for very long. How many loans do you think you've closed?
I don't know, not very many.
How many high-end clients' feelings and emotions do you control for a living?
Quite a few.
Quite, like that's all you do. You control loan officers, you control realtors, you control title companies. So you be the realtor and I'll be the loan rep.
Okay.
Okay, so managing a client's expectations from a realtor to a loan rep on a transaction. So do you want to be, I want you to be a mean one and a nice one.
Which one do you want first?
Whichever one you want.
Okay.
So it's ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is Dan there?
This is Dan.
Hey, Dan, it's Jim Reed at Summit Funding. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Jim. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Do you have a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Hey,
sure.
I'm super excited. I just got a copy of the contract, and we're in escrow on your listing on 123 Maple Street. I wanted to call and introduce myself.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
I want to tell you how we work. Would it be okay?
Sure, please.
Excellent. So here's 3 promises I want to make. The first one is I'm going to update you every single Tuesday.
Sounds good.
The second one is I'm going to close at the rate and the fees that I promised the borrower, guaranteed.
Wow. How can you guarantee that? Isn't that like illegal or something?
No, it's not illegal to guarantee my rates and fees. Why would you ask?
I don't know. I'm not very smart, so
Okay.
I just thought I'd ask you.
Okay, cool. And the third one is, and this is the one I need to talk to you about, I promise to close on time.
Well, nobody ever does, so how are you going to do that?
Well, there's 2 things to talk about. The way I'm going to do it is by first having a tough conversation with you. We can't close this loan in 21 days.
Why not?
I just got off the phone with the buyer's agent, and I asked them for permission to call you myself.
Okay.
So here's the problem.
So wait a minute, because I was about to click buy it now on eBay. Should I not do that?
You should not do that.
Okay.
Listen, we had a problem. The borrower thought they filed their tax returns. They did not.
Oh.
I have the tax returns. I have them prepared by a CPA, but they have to be third-party validated, and that's not going to happen in 21 days.
Okay.
So I'm going to need 45 days on this escrow.
Wow. So what am I supposed to do about that? I've got boat payments, and I got an ex-wife, and...
So I feel really bad about that. And I agree with you that that's painful and a lot to deal with. But if you start counting on this one closing faster, it's going to be even more painful on you. This is a 45-day escrow. It just popped up. Now, my promise is I'm going to stay in touch. I'm going to call you every week, and I'm going to land the plane, and you're going to get paid. It's just going to take a little longer.
All right.
So I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
You guys have conversations like that? So at your table, share real quick one thing you picked up from our role play. Listen, at your table, share one technique that you don't currently do that you saw me do at your table. Go ahead. Okay, come on back. Shh. Shh. Hey, you guys, do you think there's anything new in the mortgage business? There's nothing new. I mean, your job and the way how much money you make is totally based on your ability to develop better skills for what you already do. That's it. Nothing else. So someone shout something out they got from that role play. And I know it was a simple one. He just told me that was the nice guy. I thought that was the tough guy. I'm getting a little nervous. Go ahead. Something from here. Something different. Something you noticed. And you guys are all great loan reps. So we already do all that stuff. Yes. What? No intro call to the agents.
That was one of mine, so I'm not going to point him out. But
dude, you guys, people always say, like, I'm going to try not to pick on my friends, but so I've got loan reps, and they get so frustrated. Jim, I need to be out selling. Jim, I'm not marketing. Listen, if you can't sell from the escrow, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You can sell from the escrow. You can sell by the way you update. You can sell by going to the signing. You can sell on the phone. Now, you got to go see them and deliver the cheesy gifts with the $200 box. But you can sell from the damn contract. So good one. Something else? Oh, yeah.
Big call equals big money. So you.
Oh, big call equals big money. So most of us do what? Run and hide. Hope it goes away. Hope the processor deals with it. Most of you guys hope your loan partners deal with it and then say you got a bad loan partner. Listen, they don't get paid for big calls, you do. They get paid for the easy ones. The more money I make, the more time I spend dealing with pissed off people.
if you had cancer, would you rather go in now for treatment or later? Same thing with your loans, right? When your loans get a little case of cancer, you gotta You got to go at it right away. And I think that's one of the things, you know when something is going wrong. How many of you would agree with the fact that you know when a loan is going wrong? You can smell it. Yeah? You know early on. So what do most of us do, though? Nothing. Right? That's the time to get on the phone and create some anxiety, which we'll talk about in a second. You don't have to be the only one that has anxiety medication. You can infect everyone.
Real quick, last point, and then we'll do a bad realtor.
You said no twice. So you told them it can't close on time, and then he pushed back, and that's when I cave generally and become a hero, and you said no twice.
I want to point something else out, Robin, because it's exactly related to that I actually noticed, is he was not going to let me, do what I was doing, which was basically forcing him to try to say something. Did you notice that? He just sat there and waited till I responded. When, those of us who have untreated anxiety disorders, he's not talking. What should I say? I should say something. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. He's not saying anything. I mean, this is what's going on, and he maybe had that going on in his head, but he waited till what? I reacted.
I love long, uncomfortable silences.
So I thought that was cool.
It's your chance to be a hero. That's how I think about it. It's my chance to really be a hero. And then I acknowledged his problem. I agree, it's a problem. But if you think you're going to get paid and you don't, that's a bigger problem. Right? So I gave him that. Okay, so I'm ready for the tough realtor real quick. Is it a listing agent or a buyer's agent?
You pick one. Make it a listing agent, I guess.
So the last thing that I hope you guys pick up is when there's bad news to the listing agent, I call, not the buyer's agent. I call. I call the buyer's agent, give them the bad news, and then ask them to let me call the agent.
How many of you call the listing agent when you know you're in a tough competitive situation? How many of you do that? So this is really no different than that, right? The thing is, when you're doing that, what's different about it? What's different about that call? It's happy. Right? It's happy. You're selling your person, you're selling your borrower, you're selling yourself. And in this case, remember, what are their expectations? So I'm the listing agent, Jim's going to call me, and I did not choose him, did I? I am a hostage to Summit Funding at this point. Would you agree? Okay? So now, what's my expectation of his performance level? It's low. Low.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that good?
Because I can beat it.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to be great. He just has to be better than the expectation, which is low. Okay, so watch. We're going to have a little role play around that.
I'm super nervous right now.
You're good, buddy.
So ring.
Hello?
Hi, is Dan there?
This is me.
Hey, Dan, this is Jim Reed with Summit Funding. Do you have a minute?
Not right now. Not really.
Okay, well, I have a brand new contract on one of your listings, and I need to talk to you. So can I schedule time to talk to you later today if you don't have time?
Wait. You have a contract on one of my listings. How did that happen?
Well, my buyer's agent made an offer, and it looks to me like you accepted it. I could be wrong.
Jim, I got to stop you because we have a rule in our office that we never work with Summit Funding. And the reason is because you guys have blown so many files right at the end that, you're probably a nice guy and everything, and you might be able to kick my butt, but I'm just going to tell you, we think you guys are terrible, and so we've created that rule. So I just want you to know that. I'm not very happy right now.
Well, I have to tell you that you haven't done a loan with me yet.
That's what I'm looking for right there.
So,
wait, hold on. I want to point something out. What did he just do that changed the entire course of this conversation? He owned it. It's not Summit Funding. Who do I have to now be mad at? Jim Reed. I don't know Jim Reed. How can I be mad at him? That's the biggest, if anyone takes anything away from this talk, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That is what you need to take away, what he just did. Did we plan this?
No. We definitely did not plan this.
That's why this guy earns so big. So go ahead.
I would say we haven't done a loan with me yet. When's the last time you did close a loan with Summit?
Well, the last one we closed was about 3 months ago.
Well, what I'm asking for is a second chance. And I want to do a loan for you. I want to make some promises to you and manage your expectations a little bit on this transaction. I want you to give me a chance to deliver. And after I deliver, I want to get a chance to meet you.
Okay, well, I'm open to that. But listen, dude, we've got an 11-day contingency removal on this file. Are you guys going to be able to give the ability to release those loan contingencies and the appraisal contingencies in that time frame?
Standard contingency is 14. Why did you guys do 11?
Well, you know, it's a competitive market, and everyone else lies about the close dates too, so we just figured we can put that on there. So,
Well, so here's the truth. I'm not going to be able to deliver an underwritten loan in 11 days. That's the truth, because the appraisals are taking 10 days in my market, and even though I have a panel that I hand-picked, it's not going to happen in 11 days. I can tell you that I did already meet with the borrower. I saw every single piece of their documentation. I've been doing loans 19 years. I ran it by my head processor, who's been my processor for 15 years. I ran it automated. I already have the verification sent out. I've already ordered the appraisal even before I called you. And if anybody's on top of it, I am on top of it.
okay, so what's a reasonable time frame? I'm going to have to go back to the seller and get their expectation reset then.
I want 3 weeks.
You want 3 weeks?
Yep.
That sounds crazy.
We're a wet funding company. Once we have approval, it's going to be faster than you experienced in the past.
Okay. So what do you think, when can you close it?
I can close on time, but I need 3 weeks on extension on the contingency.
All right. I think I can give you that.
Great. So after this is all said and done, if I keep all my promises, will you meet with me? Because I have to tell you one more thing before I get off the phone. I've been working for Summit Funding, and this is what I would say. I've been working for Summit Funding for 20 years. And it's not my company, but I think it is. I feel like it is. And for you to say that our brand isn't good, you just broke my heart. So I'm going to fix it if you give me a chance.
Okay, absolutely. You close this thing on time, do what you say you're going to do, and I'll talk to you.
Awesome. That's what I would really do.
Good job, Jimbo.
You know, it's funny he says that. I went into a meeting with a guy, and he had a weird body language. And I said, can I ask you a question? And he said, oh, yeah. Something's wrong. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I'm not sure if I've done something, but something's wrong. What gives? He goes, well, I don't really like Summit. Broke my heart. Worst work day I've had in a long time. So when that happens to you, if it happens, now is it possible that everybody loves Summit Funding? Is it possible that there's no one out there who's had a bad experience with any company?
No.
But if you're going to work here and be part of our family, you take that as a chance to make it better. Don't just go away. You take it as a chance to make it better. The brand we have is dependent on who? Loan reps. Be more specific. Loan reps. That's who our brand is dependent on. So you don't go down like no sucker because you got some tough guy who's puffed up. Make sense? You got me all fired up right now.
Hey, so I want to talk to you about something, because we talk about close on time. Most of you are in the state of California, and closing on time is not the important measure. If you're in the state of California, your important measure, which we were hitting on up here, is what? Your contingency removal. And so who has control over that part of the process? We do. Not operations, we do. Let me give you an example. There are, outside of how many leads you generate, okay, there are 3 things that you can actively manage. I hope you're doing this every single day, but if you're not, maybe this will be something worth writing down. There are 3 things that you can actively manage outside of your lead generation. We have a sales culture, would you agree?
Yep.
Do we generate leads pretty well, most of us? I think so. The first thing is lead conversion. We're not here to talk about lead conversion, but I will tell you that when your referral partners trust you, when they know for a fact that you're going to deliver on what you say, and when they also know for a fact that you're going to help them manage the listing agent, what happens to leads that come from that person? They convert. And they come in, and what they do is sell you. Here's 2 different people, you know, Blake and Dan. You can use Dan, but I think Blake is smarter, cuter, and better. Okay, I guess I'll use Blake, right? They sell you. So don't forget that that lead conversion process happens when you manage your timeframes and expectations. But the 2 things that I really wanted to mention, because I think, you know, you saw that we've done a pretty good job of growing some of our operations in the Bay Area. Scott Eaton and Victoria Ratcliffe have grown the Walnut Creek office over 48% this last year, which was pretty respectable. And the reason we did that is because we focused on these 2 things. Most of that growth came organically. What does organically mean? It contains carbon. No, yes. It means that it came from the people that are already there, right? Okay, so How did we do it? We focused on the time frame in the new language from loan estimate, which would have been GFE, right? Loan estimate to underwriting. Let me say that again. What is the time from the loan estimate being created to when it goes into underwriting? Okay? Well, if it's 10 days, what would you say? Is that too long or too short?
That's too long.
Too long. So that's right. Most people start out, wherever you start off, figure out where you are for your particular team. I'm not talking about your branch. Who am I talking about? You, as a loan originator. What is my time frame? We can get all those reports pulled. Your branch manager can do it for you if you don't manage your own branch. What is the time it takes from your average loan estimate to be sent in to the time that you're submitting to underwriting? Are you with me so far? What do you think the next date is? There's only one other thing you have to measure and manage that you can in the branch. What is it? Resubmittals. Right. How long does it take from an underwrite to the time that I send in resubmitted conditions? Trust me, you want to close loans faster. Look, we're at what, one day in underwriting?
Like 1 hour.
Yeah, sometimes 3 hours, 4 hours. You know, if it's a chase line, 3 days. But listen, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I have control over what? Everything prior to underwriting. So if I take my LE to submission time frame down from 10 days to 4 days, I don't care what they do there anymore, do I? Because I just bought 6 days. So if you want to change your life, seriously, if you want to change your life, start looking at these 2 dates.
Let's talk about how to do it. I want to hear some ideas from the table. So get back in your table and come up with, you got like 1 minute to come up with one idea to lessen the amount of time it takes a loan officer to turn in a file to processing. I'm going to give you mine, and Dan can give you his in a minute. But at your table, each person share their best tactic for turning a file in quickly and accurately. Go ahead. Come on back. So, Aaron Carlson, come on back. Shh. Aaron Carlson, someone from your table, holler out like you mean it so I can hear it. Something that you guys do to turn files in quickly and accurately as loan reps. Hold on a minute. You're out of turn. You must be a loan rep. Aaron, your table, speak. So you got 2 people that work for me down there with great loan reps. What are you talking about, horses and donkeys? What are you guys talking about?
We collect, is that right?
Just holler, girl. I'll repeat it.
We collect everything up front, do letters of explanation.
So listen, here's what she's saying. She meets all of her clients up front before they go shop and meets them, goes over every documentation and sends them out the door with a detailed list of what's missing. Now everybody's going, oh yeah, we all do that. No, you don't. No, you don't. Oh, I got this loan officer who works for me, and he goes, his business plan is run it automated, submit the minimum stuff to underwriting, and see what we can get away with. Now, I'm sure he's the only one in the room who thinks that way, right? Look at, you see, they're laughing hysterically over here. So that's a terrible business plan in today's market. Did it used to work? Yes. Who Moved My Cheese says, change or die. Please change. It's silly. Another one from over here. I'm trying to engage the back of the room that are slackers way in the back. Tim, somebody from your table. Just holler. I'll repeat it. He says send an update. Resend the needs list when the borrower gets into contract. One more? Anybody got a good one? So far, you're not blowing me away. Yes.
We've had a hard time getting a title fees, so we copy the realtors on when we request them off CD so we can get it faster and we give them a time.
Yes, so at our branch, we started sending out the CD request and including the realtors and saying, the loan is on hold. Now, you all don't got the guts to do it, so I'm not gonna, I was thinking about not sharing it. You all worried about everybody liking you and everything, so y'all won't do it anyway. The loan is on hold, sent to the title company and CC the realtors. You think you'll get your fees? They picked the title company. I mean, you got to take the facts and turn it in your favor. Make sense? Anything else? Any last ones? Yes.
So we really set expectations with our clients up front by collecting all their paperwork, and we actually do it, including transcripts
So you get transcripts up front. You can have him sign a borrower signature authorization and do some of the legwork up front. So he does more and more up front. The people, like, I'm going to, I don't want to forget to have this conversation, so bring up JJ later.
Yep.
Okay. So I want to do a role play on literally, if it's okay with you guys, how I talk to my borrower clients. Would you like to see it? Yep. So you're my borrower client.
Okay.
Okay. So we're in a loan consultation. I don't really talk to my borrowers until they come in and meet with me. Okay? Someone does a quick 1003 who's licensed. Someone tells them what to bring and sets the appointment, and then they come in and sit down with me. I haven't looked at anything yet.
Jim, do you always physically meet with them?
I would say we're at 9 out of 10, Rusty. What do you think? 9 out of 10, we do some business in Reno and we do some business in the Bay. Those guys we do. When that happens, we do a phone consultation and they have to send their stuff in before the consultation. Now, if they don't have all their stuff, I still do the consultation. And then I grill them to get the answer I want. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Hey, you work 40 hours a week?
Yes.
You work 40 hours a week every single week?
Unless I'm too drunk on Mondays, but yeah.
So like if you don't come to work, like let's say you decide to leave early, do they still pay you or does your pay get cut?
Oh, no, they cut my pay.
So he's not 40 hours a week, is he? Just ask 2 more extra questions. 2 extra questions on each topic, and I'm going to learn more and more about my client. That's the part everybody doesn't do. Like people go like this, how long, say 2 years, right? How long have you lived in your house? 2 years. Yay, it's only 2 years, all I got to fill out 1 box. That's what you guys do in your heads, I know it. Right? No, you got to go 2 deeper. Has it been 2 years? What's the hire date? Or what's the date you moved in? He says, I don't remember. And then I go, hey, was it before Christmas or after? He's all, oh, it was after. Then it hasn't been 2 years. You guys got to get that detailed because that stuff is what causes your loans not to close on time. So we're in the consultation. We just got done doing my presentation. I say, Dan, I gotta talk to you about something. First of all, how do you feel so far?
So far, so good. Thank you.
So we just spent an hour together. You guys need to put more time in your consultations. Add 30 minutes to your time slots right away. Write that down. You're doing them too fast. You're not being detailed enough. You're not doing the explanation letters while they're sitting there. You're not helping them top them. You're not having them sign them right there. You're pushing it off to your team, and it's too much back and forth, and it's silly. So schedule more time and do a better job up front. So listen, I got to tell you something. I've been doing loans 19 years, Dan, and I'm about to apologize to you 3 times.
Okay.
So the first one is right now, I apologize for this experience you're about to have. And all the time I've been doing loans, I have never seen it be more difficult. I have never, ever seen it be more difficult. And I have my loan partner, too, in the room with me. I grab her and put her in the room with me. So we've asked you for a lot of stuff, and I swear, Dan, we're just getting warmed up. I mean, we're not even halfway there. We're going to ask you, it's going to feel like you give me the same document more than once. It's going to feel like we bug you and everything is not going right. That's how it's supposed to feel. Like it's not going right.
So if it doesn't hurt, it's probably going wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
If it goes super smooth, that's when I get freaked out. So we're going to ask you for things at least 4 major times during the process. 4 more major times during the process. And what I need from you in order to get your deal closed on time is to be super responsive. So I'm apologizing for asking you to be responsive because I know it's a pain, but you're going to have to jump. When Marcella asks you for stuff, I need it the same day or the next morning at the latest. The same day or the next morning at the latest. Now sometimes, Dan, you're going to give me some stuff and we're going to look at it and it's going to make us ask more questions. I'm going to have to ask for more stuff. That's why I say 4 times. But the good news is I really know what I'm doing when it comes to if you can get a loan or not, and you can for sure get a loan, and you're going to buy this house. Okay? You're going to buy this house. It's just going to be bumpy. So before I move forward, do you have any questions about the process?
No, it doesn't sound like very much fun.
It doesn't. I mean, we laugh and say, oh, we're going to ask you for your firstborn and all that stuff, and everybody kind of makes those jokes. But I don't want to make it a joke. Because by the end of this, you're going to say, if I have to give you one more thing, and I'm going to say, yeah, but I need it. And here's the bottom line. The reason is 97% of all the loans closed in America are either government insured or government regulated. And the government had to bail out the U.S. economy, and they're super pissed. That's really what's going on. They're trying to make it so that loans have way less chance of having a problem. Is it working? It seems to be working. Economy's doing good. So all this pain and stuff, it seems to be working. That's the only good thing I can tell you out of all this process. So Marcella's right here. She's going to talk to you every single Tuesday. She's going to be your main point of contact. She's the best I've ever had. She's going to take great, great care of you. I'm always knowing what's going on with your loan. If you ever want to call me, you can. She's just a lot easier to reach.
So you set those expectations of what the contact point is, right, up front as well. Do you guys do that with your borrowers? How many of you have at least one LP that works for you? Raise your hand. Okay. So if you're doing that with your borrowers, who else do you need to do that with? Your referral partners. You know, some of you don't have someone that's strong enough to speak to a referral partner yet, but you'll get there. Those of you who do, you've got to have those conversations with that referral partner in advance so they know how your team works and what it is that they can expect from you and when. And so that when they call and you're here, you don't have to run out. And I heard someone at the break saying, well, hey, they were leaving a message for someone, hey, I'm in this meeting all day, and this is really the only time I think I'm going to have a chance to talk to you. And so if I can, I'll call you later. And if hopefully that just answered your question. I mean, that's the kind of stuff. That's why we have staff, right? Is so that person can call that individual and take care of those low-level discussions up front.
I got to add two more things. We're running a little short on time, and I want to interview him on something. So two quick things. The first thing is when it comes to borrower missing items, like you get an initial review from your loan manager. So this is the one you want to copy of all these little tricks. In the email, the regarding section, put the street address, and the first line of the email says, your loan is on hold until we have all of the below items.
That's
and
great
CC
words,
the realtor. So you send that to the borrower. First of all, if your loan partner's got to call the borrower and say to them, hey, here's what we need. I'm going to send you an email that summarizes it, and I'm going to include the realtor, okay? They say, okay. So then no one's pissed that they got CC'd, right? And then it says your loan's on hold, and the first couple times the realtor freaks out. But the stuff comes back really, really fast.
How many of you are condition fighters? Raise your hand if you are a condition fighter.
I'm not.
Okay. Why aren't you a condition fighter?
Dude, I got to pick my battles, right? So I can either bang heads with Chris Ringrose, who's going to be in my life for a long, long time, or a borrower who's going to be in my life 30 days. That's my simplest answer.
You're going to collect stuff anyway.
So. Right, and I already told him I was going to beat him up. People who are condition fighters tell people, I'm going to make this as painless as possible. I'm going to do everything I can to limit what we ask for. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm never going to even mention it. The second thing I need to say is, Rick was up here talking, and he's a professional coach. He's coaching people who make $1 million, and he's talking about, as a salesperson, you get the deal, give it to your team, and get out the way. Well, who has a 5-person team here? Raise your hand. Great. Everybody else, don't listen to that. You're still in the trenches. You understand? You're part of the deal. You're reading the deal. You're directing the traffic. You're controlling the client. You're controlling the realtor. You're saying what kind of loan we're getting. You're saying what the payment is. You're saying what the cash to close is. You're giving great direction on a file and then get out of the way. You can do that in an hour and a half. It's not that big of a deal. But don't just throw a deal at a loan partner too, who's never been a loan rep, and hope they figure it out, which is what some of you are doing. And some of you guys are not updating the realtors yourselves and calling them. Shame on you. That's silly. That's where we sell from the escrow. Call the agents every week. Toot your horn. Like when I get a deal done, I'm like, I had to go meet with the underwriter, and I had to drive all the way across town, and I got this deal done. I didn't do any of that stuff. You guys, I'm exaggerating, but that's what you got to do in those updates. And then the last thing I wanted to say, and I want to ask Dan some questions, is there's a guy in our company who is building his business on a 10-day close in our company today. He touts it all over town.
Guarantees it.
Guarantees it on advertising. 10-day close. Was anybody else shocked? Am I the only one who goes, what? And so then, can I just be super transparent? You sure? Because you might not be able to take it. Everybody thinks, oh, he's got a special deal. His files go to the front of the line. Not true. So we called him because we wanted to find out. And he called him and grilled him. So what'd you find out?
Well, let's see. He does what better than anyone I know? Yes, he creates explicit expectations at the front end. And he says that half the time, JJ, are you in here? He says that half of the time, when he's talking to the borrower and he says, this is what I need from you and I can give you this 10-day close guarantee, what do they tell him?
Oh, thank you.
Nope, I'm good. Right? Which is cool. Okay, so then we reset the expectation, but as JJ says, they're still going to work towards that, short-term time frame. Now, he's also, full disclosure, at least as a result of that conversation, which was about a week and a half ago, he's already closed 3 loans with that guarantee here. So not only is it possible in theory, apparently it's possible in what? Reality. So the thing that he does differently is he sets those expectations with the borrower very clearly up front, goes through the things that, probably what Jim said maybe just a little more sternly, and said this is what you have to do if you're going to be able to close in 10 days.
So would you say it's also true that as a loan officer team, being him and his loan partners, that they probably do some of the next person in line's jobs?
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So the difference I see between top producers and not top producers is the top producers do more than is asked of them, and the lower producers complain that they're not getting enough. That's really the biggest difference that I see. They see, oh my gosh, the biggest logjam at Summit is underwriting right now, at just whatever moment in the
CDs,
world.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so let's say it's underwriting. So they underwrite the file themselves and get so detailed that it's like they dare you to find a condition. That's why they make so much money. How easy is it to sell when you're in that much control? If you're that good, you can go sit with a realtor and say, no, that's not why your loan's not closing on time. Let me tell you why your loan's not closing on time. The loan officer that you're using is soft. The truth is he's a big sissy. And he's trying to run around pleasing everybody. He's not collecting stuff up front, and he's not reading every single piece of paper, and he's not getting the verifications done. He's just not doing his job, to be 100% honest. Because no matter what company I was at, I could close loans in 21 days. How would you like to be able to say that? Because I guarantee you I can close a loan in 21 days at any company. That's the kind of power that you got to have by doing stuff up front. And I'm sorry to put it all on you, but you get the biggest check.
I'm just curious, how many of y'all actually think that you could close every loan in 21 days? Raise your hand. I believe it in your heart. Okay, so the rest of you, look to your right or left and look at someone who raised their hand and ask them how they can do that, because I'm going to tell you that's the key. Own what's yours. The only parts of the process that we can own are the parts that we've been talking about. How we set expectations, what we do to collect the information from the borrower up front, right? How we lead through the process, how we get the agents engaged, those kinds of things. And the one thing I just wanted to mention is the biggest thing that I see people do that are really successful that's different is they get their customer, the referral partner, involved in their process. They think of them as an assistant, not as a lead source. See, the role changes. The second that that lead comes in and now the lead source is there, now the referral partner becomes what?
Assistant.
My personal assistant. That person now works for me. You want your check, you want your boat, you want to keep it? Good, let's do it. Here's how we're going to do it. I need this, I need this, I need this. Does that make sense? So it's those expectations, really strong expectations. Do you have to be a jerk? Who thinks you have to be a jerk to set clear expectations? No.
That's not true. They all think you have to be a jerk.
I know.
They're just being chickens. You guys are just being chickens. Hey, unfortunately we're wrapping this up and out of time. Am I bringing you back up, Mark? Bringing Toddy up. So before I do, do me a favor. It's been my pleasure to share the stage with Dan. He's been a brother for a long, long time. So give it up for my man, Dan Miller.
Jim Reed.
And then Toddy, come back up.